jump on the satellites and follow the globe to the sporting mecca that is Loughborough University, where we are bringing you round 15 of BUCS Super Rugby 2018, brought to you by Yoti. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Welcome everybody. Well, as you can see from my Flatman Monnier hybrid jacket, it's pretty cold here up in Loughborough. But fortunately, the pitch passed inspection at 10 a.m. this morning and we got a game on our hands. It's Loughborough University against Cardiff Met. I'm really happy to introduce my guest for the evening, which is Oscar Mortimer, who, as you can see, bleeds purple.
Or African violet, rather.
Sorry, correction, African violet. And he'll be giving us some valuable insight into the game tonight, most specifically Loughborough. Welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you along, sir. So, the big news is we made it to TV. Most of you will be used to being hunched around a laptop, a smartphone, but we're going to be on TV tonight. Sky Channel 424, BT or Freeview 95, and it's free sports TV. Really, really excited to be on, and I know the players are out here are just as excited. To our new viewers, what is BUCS Super Rugby? Well, it's the pinnacle of rugby at university level in the UK. It is a breeding ground for hot young prospects and a pathway onto greater things. None more so typified by Seb Negri, who was the Hartbury College last year and first Italy against no shakes in itself. That's not enough information for you. We're very social, so do hashtag Super Rugby. So do tweet into us about hashtag BUCS Super Rugby, because we'll tweet, we'll hear your views, we'll hear your questions, and we'll look after them at the halftime show. So there have been other games unfolding today, and there are other games unfolding tonight. So we're going to bring you some of the results that have already happened today. Exeter were victorious 24-19 against Leeds Beckett in a game that doesn't sound like it was a classic. It was reported on the Twitter that it's a game not worth the highlights reel. Well, hopefully that's not going to be the case tonight for Loughborough against Cardiff Met. Elsewhere this evening, Bath are going to be taking on Nottingham Trent. Nottingham Trent have been robbed of a game the last 2 weeks due to the weather conditions, but finally they get their first game of the season in 2018. On Friday night, Northumbria will be hosting Hartbury, but the game at hand is Loughborough tonight. Here's the league table for you. As you can see, that Exeter victory puts them top of the pile in place of Northumbria, but very importantly and crucially in the title race, they missed out on a bonus point, which leaves the door ajar for Northumbria. Cardiff Met are chasing hard in third, and Loughborough, well, they're looking to get momentum to come into the playoffs with the title really out of their grasp. A little bit of form on the teams we got this evening. As I said, Loughborough have been a little bit inconsistent this season. 1-1, loss, 1, loss at their last results, but they've been narrow ones. They lost to Beckett last week, 8-13, having led 3-5 at half-time. They're going to be looking for the finishing touch and the missing ingredient to get that hallowed W this evening. Met, however, they're in rude health. They have suffered a couple of defeats to teams around them, most notably Exeter, who, as I said, are the leaders, and a resurgent Hartbury at home. That was a shell shock for the boys from Cardiff, but they fought back with a 17-15 win against Durham last week. So there you have it, that's all the information. You know the picture, and the live action is going to be coming soon. But Oscar, let's talk about Loughborough. You guys just demand an awful lot of yourselves. You know some players that you really like the look of this evening. Talk us through them.
Yeah, of course. So we've got two Will Fosters playing today, but playing at 11 is our winger, Will Foster. He's got a great read of the game, really quick with the ball in hand, and very hard to stop once he gets moving. So he's one to watch for scoring. And then we've also got Sam Graham's-Law, who's known to snipe the ball out of rucks and scrums, and he's very dangerous as well, and you can expect scoring on his behalf as well.
Yeah, so Will Foster scored a sensational try against Cardiff Met when they played away last time. Can we expect more fireworks from Loughborough this evening?
I would certainly hope so. I mean, obviously the score was in their favour in that game, but having been pitch side during the game, I think the play didn't really reflect the scoreline. I think we very well could have won that game. We had some silly mistakes. We had two people sin binned, and I reckon we could be looking at a different performance tonight.
So home crowd, big event, big atmosphere with the music blaring out. Are Loughborough going to get that win?
Well, I certainly hope so. I'll be keen to see them get it.
Lovely stuff. Okay, well that's Oscar's view, but we caught up with the head honchos, the coaches, the main men before the game, and this is what they had to say. Right, hey Jared, lovely to see you as always. Now, it's been a tough season for Loughborough, but the playoffs are ahead. The league is a little bit out of your reach, so it's all about momentum from here on in.
Yeah, we think so. You know, we've got 2 home games in a row starting tonight against Cardiff and Durham next week, so no better way to start picking up momentum. 2 games at home. The lads are raring to go. You know, game live on TV tonight, nothing to lose, so everyone's really excited in the camp.
Yeah, you had a very tasty game away last year, and you both got mean defences though, but are we still going to see you play?
Yeah, I think so. You know, conditions this year have notably been worse. However, no, it's a good night tonight. We know Cardiff like to play a bit of rugby, and so do we. So hopefully it can be a good spectacle tonight.
And it's a bit of a marquee night for BUCS rugby. It's going to be on TV. Is that extra spicy for the boys?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've all had their haircuts done, notably, not myself. But no, yeah, I think, you know, they're really excited. You know, it's a good incentive for them, and hopefully they'll do themselves proud and Loughborough proud tonight.
And you're injury ravaged at the moment, but you've got some good players coming in. Who are we looking out for?
Yeah, no, I think we are struggling with some injuries, you know. But as you said, we got the juggernaut. Richie's back in the team, so excited to see him get some carries going tonight. And it's really exciting back 3. Aaron Tate got some great footwork. So no, there's a lot of lads. I mean, they're getting some good opportunities tonight, and hopefully they'll take that.
Awesome. We're looking forward to seeing you out there. Cheers, Jared. So Danny, great to see you in Loughborough. Great to see you in 2018. You've had a bit of a tough start compared to 2017. A loss against Hartbury and a tight one last week against Durham. What's been the problem so far, do you think?
I think every week's tough. So you know, we're talking about Trent are getting better, but there really are 8 teams, and I think on any given day those sides can beat each other. And I think that's what you're starting to see. You know, Hartbury came to us, a big game for us, and we were really looking to start the 2018 well, but they put a performance we couldn't match, and we took a long hard look at ourselves. And what we were pleased with against Durham, it wasn't a complete performance, but we came off the field and we went, well, you know what, if we can give that intensity and that effort, we'll be okay with that.
Yeah, you're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. You're title chasing. It is out of your hands with regards to other team results, but how stoked are the boys to be chasing hard still?
Well, you know, you think last year we probably weren't in the mix in a lot of these games, and we weren't at the top end of the table. What's exciting is every game's big, so that starts with tonight against Loughborough, and then we can worry about everything else after tonight.
Yeah, you've got a very consistent side, but you are missing a couple of star performers in the shape of Max Llewellyn and Dave Rabasniak, who's coming in to fill those big boots.
Well, it's great for the programme today with Max Llewellyn having been called up to the Wales 20s. Unfortunately, Dawid is out injured, but we've got Aled Evans and Aled Ward, and Aled Ward was the Wales 20s 8 from last year, so he'll do a good job, and probably our standout performer of the year, Harvey Scott, so we're really excited to have him up and running.
And we're on TV tonight. Are the boys excited?
Hey, always.
Excellent stuff. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you in the game, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Both coaches with a glint in their eye there. So, Oscar, you were at the last fixture between Cardiff Met and Loughborough. How good is this Cardiff side, and how do you beat them?
Oh, well, it's a good question, really. Well, they're a very physical side. They've got a very good pack, very well drilled, and they've also got some very fast runners. So, I mean, in terms of actual all-out play, I don't think there's a way that we beat them in that sense, but we did make some silly mistakes, like I said before. I reckon if we were to cut out the infringements and not give away possession at critical positions, then I reckon we'll win the game.
So high execution, error-free rugby is going to win this for Loughborough. Okay, well there's Oscar's views, there's my views, but it's time to cut for a little commercial break, and then we're going to be back to you with the live action. Join us in 3.
In partnership with Yoti, Loughborough against Cardiff Met.
Welcome back to the Super Show. The teams are out and they are ready to rumble. It's Loughborough versus Cardiff Met in BUCS Super Rugby, brought to you by Yoti, which leaves me to throw you up to Jonathan Bell, our voice for the evening, who's going to run you through the teams.
Live on national television. Let's hope it's a game worthy of being remembered for years to come as well. Loughborough's inclement home form, coupled with their inability to win in tight matches, has been their stumbling block so far this season. They are injury hit coming into this one, but captain Quinton Costa starts alongside Tom Stapley in the centre. Richard Lewis at number 8 promises to be a formidable force as well in the middle. But they'll come up against a tough nut in Cardiff, who have won 4 of their last 5 BUCS fixtures. David Rabsniak is out. He was the star in the reverse fixture back in South Wales when Cardiff defeated Loughborough by 32 points to 19. But Alex Dombrandt, who missed that game and missed much of the first half of the season as well with a jaw injury, is on the front line for the visitors tonight. He was part of the BUCS Team of the Year last season. They're the two sides, and that is what they have got should they be needed later on in the game. They're the two teams' substitutes as we are ready to go here in the East Midlands, and it'll be Loughborough to kick us off as well. They'll be going from left to right on your screen in the first period in the all-purple. And I mentioned there, Cardiff coming into this with 4 wins out of their last 5. Loughborough have won 1 of their last 5. Certainly a big contrast in form coming into this one. So we're all set and ready to go here in the BUCS Super Rugby in partnership with Yoti in the East Midlands. Loughborough against Cardiff Met. And we're making sure as well that the referee is ready to go. Also, referee tonight, incidentally, is George Selwood. He is assisted by Harry Walbaum and John Petzing as well. Well, the slight delay in proceedings here gives Cardiff Met on the right of your screen a chance to get in a team huddle, and it also gives a chance for the stragglers on the far side as well to come in and take their place on the pitch side. Loughborough with very good support over the course of the season. They average 900, And it was a packed house for their showpiece game right at the start of the season, the first game we broadcast to you this campaign when Loughborough defeated the reigning champions Hartpury. That seemed to be a good omen for the season to come for Loughborough. It's not quite worked out like that, but Cardiff Met certainly the flip side of the coin. They are up there with an outside chance of winning this season's BUCS League, and they get the ball early on as well here. And the kick away from... You can see the snow just on the perimeter of the pitch as well. There was a pitch inspection this morning at 10 AM, but I think the fact that here at Loughborough it is a 4G surface helped that cause for the game to go ahead. And we're very glad it has done as well. A big game on our hands, a big early tackle coming in as well. That was Richard Lewis going forward, the number 8 there for Loughborough. He started the season in the centre at number 12. Will Foster, one of the 2 Will Fosters taking part in tonight's game. Number 5, and the other out wide on the wing, and it's a good early dash as well. This coming forward, it was Costa with the break. He just couldn't find the pass for his fellow centre Tom Stapley. But a bright start for Loughborough, but that will be slowed down by that decision there going in Cardiff's favour. We did talk about pre-match down in the studio with Joe about how it's been maybe not the most comfortable starts to 2018 for Cardiff.
They're going to be on the line, so if you come here.
Hartpury, followed by a narrow win last week at Durham by 17 points to 15, but those wins all count. And they know tonight, Cardiff Met, that if they get a bonus point win, they will go joint top with Exeter. Exeter winning earlier on today by 24 points to 19 against Leeds Beckett, which maintained Exeter's unbeaten run at home. Ended Leeds away unbeaten run. Turnover there once again picked up by Quinton Costa, looking bright early on and picking the ball up inside Cardiff Met territory. So searching pass forward with by Matthew Travers there with the kick. But good start this from Loughborough, just what they would have wanted. A cracking view there of tonight's venue for this BUCS Super Rugby game in partnership with Yoti. 2.5 minutes gone, Loughborough with much of the ball so far, and they're trying to gain the territorial advantage right now as well. Cardiff Met have the line out, and once again the box kick forward from Matt Marsh. Second time we've seen that already in the early parts of the contest, but thus far it's not really troubled Loughborough. Turnover though on halfway is won very well by Jack Fielding. And now Cardiff Met looking to get their passing game going. Very physical side Cardiff, and most of their points coming this season from the forwards. And once again contrasting that with Loughborough, where most of their points come from out wide and the back line. So it really is a good matchup this between these two sides. Comfortably gathered up by Travers, who will return the kick into touch. Cardiff looking to get things going and immediately put the pressure back on. Johnston with the big kick forward. Johnston, it's his first year with Cardiff Met, and he's fitted into the team like a hand in a glove. Kick forward once again from Johnston, and again it's easily dealt with, this time by Loughborough and Aaron Tate, who is benefiting from some of the Loughborough injuries that they've had in recent weeks, getting a start on the wide right. His opposite number, Corey Wayne, now gathers wonderfully well and looks to get a surging run going. There's no subtlety so far about the Cardiff Met tactics. Looking to gain territory by kicking the ball forward whenever possible, but now they look to charge down the centre. And Alex Dombrandt, the number 4, who was actually part of the BUCS media coverage for the reverse fixture back in South Wales in early November. As much as he may have enjoyed being on camera, I'm sure he was itching to be out on the field, and he is tonight as well, with the bit between his teeth after the jaw injury that ruled him out for much of the first half of the campaign. Once again, it's ball to foot from Harry Johnston. And again, Loughborough making sure that they are faultless picking the ball up at the back and coming towards halfway. The decision will be given in Cardiff's favour. And defensive resilience, certainly a prominent part of Cardiff Met. Very stern with the defence, and their front line will be difficult for Loughborough to break down tonight. It's not often you find the gaps against this Cardiff side, and Loughborough have to make sure that if they do get the opportunity, they maximise it. A fantastic kick forward from Cardiff Met, really gaining up some serious yards, and for the first time pinning themselves well and truly inside Loughborough's 22. So a couple of warning signs here for the Loughborough defence. Comfortably taken by Aled Evans, the Cardiff club captain, who's missed himself quite a few games so far this season. A good dashing run from Johnston, gets his way towards the try line. Has he got an arm over there? He certainly has. And the opening score of the game for Cardiff comes on their first attack as well. Harry Johnston, who's done a lot of the early work with his foot so far in this game, touches down for the first points of it as well. And you have to say, it came from George Simpson's superb kick into touch in the corner. It was wonderfully worked from the line out, and Harry Johnston there, so slippery on his way through. Looked as if he may have gone a little bit short of the try line, but he managed to get it in nonetheless, and comfortably converted as well as you'd expect. And after a positive start for Loughborough, it is Cardiff Met who see the pendulum swing in their favour first tonight, leading by 7 points to 0. And Tom Morgan with those 2 points there. He's had a very impressive season with the boot, has Tom Morgan, scoring 149 points so far this campaign, streets ahead of everybody else in the BUCS Super Rugby. He's 9 points as well off the all-time BUCS record, Ted Landry, and you'd back him to the hill. So Morgan to beat that record, he could beat it tonight. But more pressing issues for Cardiff is the fact that a bonus point win tonight puts them level on top, and just what the doctor ordered in the first 10 minutes. Strong stuff from Sam Cochrane. Prop down the middle, and once again the decision going in favour of Cardiff, who again look to go quick. A very important challenge coming from Loughborough just to deny the charge there over halfway. But nicely moved from Cardiff, who are shown they can pass it about as well, kicking early and now charging towards the try line again, possibly. It was denied, not once, not twice, maybe even 3 times. Still Loughborough scrambling back, and they will not stop the Cardiff assault. 2 tries in as many minutes has put the visitors already in a commanding position here in the East Midlands. Absolutely fantastic stuff from Cardiff Met, turning it on like a switch. And Loughborough unable to stop the assault. And it's 12-0 to Cardiff after 8 minutes. The team from South Wales charging in to the East Midlands like a train, and a train that means business as well. Another conversion from Tom Morgan. You wouldn't expect anything different from him. And Cardiff suddenly go 14-0 ahead. It looked as if the counter from Cardiff had been thwarted, especially at that stage there from Corey Wayne. But then the vital movement made by Aled Evans over the line. And Cardiff are looking seriously good in the opening embers of this match. When it gets to this stage of the season, There do seem to be nerves with those at the top, but not in Cardiff Met so far. And it has definitely stunned the home crowd on the far side as well. Cardiff early going for the kicks to try and put the Loughborough backline under a bit of pressure. Loughborough came out pretty cleanly through that, but when it came to the running game that Cardiff quickly instilled, Loughborough had no answers. Well, still a long way to go in this one, and Loughborough can certainly recover this, but it's going to be a very difficult ask. Marauding run forward there from Andrew Nathan Boy. Travers across, and this is Lewis again. And Cardiff certainly sensing the danger whenever he gets the ball. 2 or 3 men straight on him and trying to thwart his progress. Still Loughborough have possession on that far side, and this time it's William Foster looking to battle his way forward. Now it's Cox. Good response this from Loughborough, but can they make it count with points at the end of it? Again it's Boyd, it's quickly moved on to Costa. As Loughborough trying to battle their way once again forwards with Will Foster. But Cardiff get the decision going their way, and it's certainly all going their way as well with the scoreline as well. Loughborough 0, Cardiff Met 14 here in the BUCS Super Rugby in partnership with Yoti. And there may be a few of the Loughborough persuasion scratching their heads as to how quickly the game went from 0-0 to 2 tries to 0 for the visitors. Cardiff very strong in the scrum as well this season, and that was without the likes of Alex Dombrandt being a part of the front line. Referee George Elwood not happy first time around with the Cardiff scrum there. Time for take 2 as Matt Marsh, the number 9, putting it in, but immediately the scrum collapsing once more. Eventually the referee just giving Cardiff the penalty there, so off they go, looking to try and run it forward instead, but no doubt Cardiff will have the opportunity as the game progresses to show just how strong they are in the scrum. So away from George Simpson, whose kicking so far has been very good indeed. Of course, we've touched on Tom Morgan already and his exploits this season, taking his tally for the campaign now to 153. But George Simpson with the very accurate kick indeed, of course, for the first try. And that Cardiff Met had a line out very close to the corner on the far side, and that led to the first points of the game. Cardiff looking to go once more, but this time the ball not being able to held by Alan Evans. Uncharacteristic error from Cardiff Met, and to be fair, one of the first handling errors we've seen so far in this game. Of course, we had the exchange of kicks right at the start of the match, where both teams seem to come out on top in that respect, receiving the ball. And the passing has been pretty crisp as well, but now in the scrum, we will have the opportunity to see just how strong it is for Cardiff. And Joe joining me now in the commentary box as well. Cardiff straight out the traps, 14-0 ahead, the best start they could have hoped for.
Yeah, absolutely, Jono. Loughborough looking shell-shocked from that start. A bit of weak tackling, allowing that first try to come through, but then the continuity play for the second was sensational. With the support there, and Matt Marsh getting over. He's a young fresher coming into the side and staking a claim for the number 9 jersey in a permanent role.
Once again, it's Cardiff winning the ball. And possession there being held by Harvey Scott. No subtleties at all about the way that Cardiff Met have attacked this game. We said a bonus point win would take them level on top with Exeter after they dropped the bonus point earlier on against Leeds. And Cardiff out for the tries in the first quarter of the game.
Yeah, good opportunity for Cardiff to make ground on Exeter. As he said, they missed out on the bonus, so bonus point win for Cardiff Met tonight, going to put them on level points. Although I think they'll sit below on the head-to-head, which is the tiebreaker in this league.
Either or we put 6 in the line. 5, reset, make sure there's only 5, please.
So reset from the line out there for Loughborough. I think William Foster and Archie McPherson appearing as though they were both going for the ball. This time it is clean and successful, and Loughborough are away. Bywater tackled at the first attempt there by Tom Morgan. Very difficult, isn't it, for Loughborough to find these gaps against Cardiff. And again, a turnover successful for the visitors, and everything's just going their way so far.
Yeah, the Cardiff Met defence has been a feature of their play throughout the season. Their line speed is absolutely rapid, very, very hungry to put pressure on the opposition back line. And as you see, that pressure is leading to a lot of errors from the African Violets at the moment. Knock on there, and they just can't get some clean phases together to attack with a bit of consistency.
Yeah. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Well, things pretty even, Stephen, in the scrum there. Cardiff Met do have that reputation of being very strong from that play, but Loughborough more than a match for them on that occasion. But again, Cardiff protecting the ball very well indeed, and not letting Loughborough get a snuff of it. Although almost a good interception there on Matt Marsh, who did very well indeed to pounce at the second attempt and keep it. But Loughborough definitely ready to make the most of any mistakes presented to them. There won't be many over the course of the night. There was almost one there, which was very well recovered, and then straight out of the danger it goes from Matt Marsh. And again, comfortably collected by Jack Burrows. Once again, it's Costa trying to get things moving as play moves towards the far side. Good bit of wriggly play from Andrew Bywater there. Pushes him over halfway. And a great bit of footwork there from Matt Travers as well, almost breaking through the lines. But play once again halted. And once again, an infringement from Loughborough going in Cardiff Met's favour. And the injury just to the right of your screen there is on Matthew Travers, the fly half. who was making a very promising break down the centre before he offloaded the ball and took quite a knock for his troubles as well.
Yeah, Matthew Travers, from when I've seen him, he takes the ball very flat and fast to the line. He's a high-risk playing 10, so a lot of runners off him and a lot of defensive possibilities to deal with. That high risk does, though, yield the odd error from time to time. A little bit of an unsympathetic ball, and I think it was Andrew Bywater who was charging through. Very attentively taken care of by the Cardiff defence. Little knock on and they lose that consistency again, but this injury should provide them with a little bit of a huddle, see some strong voices in there and try and galvanise themselves for the second half of this half.
For everyone just tuning in now, Joe, you look at the scoreline and you would automatically think Cardiff have had very much the better of the opening stages of the game, but actually, apart from those 2 minutes where Cardiff got their 2 tries, it's been pretty level and Loughborough have had most of the possession.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, but as you see at the highest level of the game, it's about executing opportunities and taking them when they're on offer, and Cardiff Met have definitely done that. They've only spent a short period of time in the Loughborough territory, but when they've been there, they've made it count. Conversely, Loughborough, they've spent a lot of time in the Archers' half, but a lot of knock-ons, a bit of sloppy play at the breakdown, and they find themselves unable to convert for any points.
Absolutely, and that not only separating them tonight on the pitch here in the East Midlands, but perhaps the reason why they're so far apart as well in the league standings. Not the most convincing scrum that from Cardiff Met, but the referee, George Selwood, had already halted things anyway. You can see just how cold a night it is here in the East Midlands. Joe, you were certainly wrapped at warm on pitch side, and you can see the snow as well just on the perimeter of the pitch. There's quite a bit of that on the surface this morning, hence why we had the pitch inspection at 10 AM. But bright sunshine was the order of the day here in the Midlands, and that is why the snow has thawed, and finally Loughborough get the rub of the green there with the penalty decision.
Yeah, that snowfall on the pitch hasn't just potentially hampered this evening's game, but speaking to Jared Mullen before the game, they've had a couple of difficulties in training due to the snow on all the pitches, so that could be a factor in their sluggish start to the game, but it looks like they're beginning to get a foothold here on the Cardiff Met 22.
Live here from Loughborough University, BUCS Super Rugby action in partnership with Yoti. Cardiff Met coming into this game in 3rd position, just a sniff away from the top spot, leading by 2 tries to 0. Loughborough trying to maraud their way forward, and it looks as if it may pay off here as well, with Jamie Cox just slipping through momentarily. Well recovered though from Cardiff. Play recycled, and Stapley for the first time really making his way forwards. Travers looking to go alone, well held by Harvey Scott, number 7 for Cardiff, and Foster getting a feel for the ball as well. Loughborough again with the possession, but not really gaining those yards in the first quarter of this game. Costa trying to make something happen. The referee has halted things for an injury off the ball, just trying to make out who that is. There are 2 Cardiff Met players down. One of them has sprung to their feet. That's Harry Johnston, the number 10. He's holding his right wrist. And the second of those Cardiff Met injuries, can't quite work out the shirt number. But Loughborough doing the right things at the moment, knocking on the door, feeling out the opposition. Cardiff, though, not giving them an inch.
Yeah, knocking on the door, but at the moment the Cardiff Met defence seems to have an answer for it. I mentioned before, very, very hungry, fast line speed, and it is putting pressure on that Loughborough attack. They're also playing very narrow. They seem to be struggling to get it out to their wide men at the moment. They've definitely got some danger out there in the shape of Jack Burrows, but the guy I really like is a young fresher, Aaron Tate. Wonderful footwork, he's got explosive speed off the mark. if they can get it out wide to him and to Will Foster on the other wing, who scored that sensational try, the wonder try, down at Cardiff Met before. And there's going to be questions to answer.
Incidentally, Aled Evans, the Cardiff captain. Number 8 was the other man down there. The BUCS Super Rugby presented by Yoti. With Cardiff Met, the visitors leading by 14 points to 0. I suspected that it was a wrist injury to Harry Johnston. It might be more the finger. He's in some discomfort. You can see with the twitching of the right leg there. They've just come out of place, but very much good to go and continue. Harry Johnston, scorer of the first try tonight. Score of that first try, and what was Cardiff's first encroachment on the Loughborough 22. As Joe Riley said, they made it count. And that's what separates the two sides, coupled, of course, with that later try from Aled Evans. So first Loughborough scrub, and immediately Cardiff charging out there in the pack, but the decision going against them, and they seem to be bewildered by that call. And Travers into touch into the corner. Well, it was certainly intense, Joe. What's the referee seen there, do you think?
Tell you what, John, I'm not really a master of the dark arts. I do play in the scrum, but I'm one of the guys who's hanging on the wings, not doing an awful lot of pushing.
Well, certainly doing the pushing right now is Jamie Cox, and for the first line out a few moments ago, it looked as if he was going to wriggle free. Almost did this time around, but Cardiff looking a bit more stern. And still, Loughborough now getting the decisions going in their favour.
Yeah, they're certainly in the ascendancy at the moment. I was imploring them before to try and find a way to get it to their wide men who pose threats on the flanks, but it looks like sticking up your jumper and keeping it tight with the big men at the moment is tasking Cardiff Met, which is something you wouldn't have expected at the start of the game.
So, will this line out just be a carbon copy of what we had a few moments ago? It's Lewis this time holding it alongside Jamie Cox there. Lewis, a very good play to have in the number 8 position, and Cardiff Met have done enough. And George Selwood giving the decision their way this time. And you can see not only the celebration from the Cardiff players, but probably a bit of relief as well, because Loughborough were getting close.
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge moment in this half. Loughborough really starting to turn the screw and put an awful lot of pressure. Met conceding a lot of penalties. Great bit of defence there in the maul. Richie Lewis getting a little bit isolated, held up successfully, and this is a chance for Met to clear their lines and a bit of breathing space, because they've been under the cosh for a long period of time now.
Cardiff looking to swiftly run in with the ball, but Loughborough so far keeping them inside their own territory and blocking the box kick as well, but just that rub of the green not going in their favour there, and Cardiff managing to pick up the loose pickings not once but twice, but the second time around I think there'd been a knock-on in there. And Loughborough once again will get possession. It may be a few yards back from where they had it a few moments ago, but still a chance to put the foot firmly onto the gas.
Yeah, poor exiting there from Met. They had the opportunity, narrow carry to set it up, but no blockers in there. Loughborough would-be defenders swarming all over the 9, putting a lot of pressure on Matt Marsh. He wasn't taken care of there by his pack.
just sense if Loughborough can get a way back into this one, it'll set up a very entertaining and to not just the first half, but certainly set things up fantastically for the second period as well, as Lewis is looking to maraud his way down the middle. And then Boy with the charge. It was very well picked up as well by Foster there, deceived certainly myself and definitely the Cardiff backline too, as Loughborough are sniffing around the try line here. Can they find a way of pressing it home? It's not just Cardiff in the way right now, but the Rugby post as well. And is it over? No try, and it will be brought back instead for the Loughborough penalty.
I think Cardiff Met are going to have to tread with a little bit of care here now. They're going to wear a number of penalties in their 22 in this 10-minute period of concerted pressure from Loughborough. I'm surprised the referee hasn't actually had a chat with them just yet, so I think they've definitely got another life before the yellow comes out. But any more nefarious activity, someone's going to be marching off for 10 minutes.
It was fantastic play initially from Will Foster, the number 5, who's been in the thick of the action so far, making those bursts from the middle. And he almost found a gap. Cardiff at the last managing to halt his progress. Loughborough definitely building up a head of steam right now. It was Lewis that picked up the ball. And it will be another scrum. There's a few verbals going on there, you can see with the Cardiff Met players. Just trying to psych out the opposition, perhaps.
Or psych themselves up, indeed, for a pretty crucial scrum.
Yeah, they may look confident on the face of it right now, Cardiff, but this is promising stuff for the home side. Just over 10 minutes remaining of the first period. And once again, a few rehearsals of the scrum required before we can properly embark on it. Pretty tight in the first half of the reverse fixture at the start of November between these two sides. Loughborough were leading that one at the break, 14 points to 13, but then it was somewhat of a capitulation going into the second half. We saw Cardiff comfortably run out winners in the end. And they've overturned that scrum as well pretty comfortably too, and eventually, Joe, they can clear their lines.
Okay, listen.
That's a huge moment in play. They've soaked up a massive amount of pressure there, and to be able to win that scrum against the head, clear the decks, and they're pretty much up to the halfway line. A little bit unlucky on the tackle on the Loughborough 9 there. Don't think the would-be tackler was anticipating Ben Poynton to be leaping up to collect that, but a penalty nevertheless, and Loughborough back into the mixer. Go. Yeah, no malice in there. Just enthusiastic to make the tackle or gather the ball. But as a consequence, they're back under pressure.
So still Loughborough looking to get their way back into this one here in the BUCS Super Rugby, presented to you by Yoti. Cardiff Met, though, right in the tussle for the title this season, leading by 14 points to 0, but as the minutes tick by, it is Loughborough who are getting more and more into this, and just as you say that, their progression is halted by that decision. And there's a lot of relief there on the Cardiff Met players, you feel, because the crowd were beginning to get vocal as well in the last few moments.
Yeah, you can feel that if Loughborough don't leave the red zone with all this pressure and all this possession with any points, it's going to be as psychologically as good as a try for Met. having soaked up all the pressure, as I said, and to leave with their scoreboard unblemished. It's a big moment in the game.
Scrum looking a lot better that time around. Dart forward from Tom Morgan. Quickly stopped in his tracks. And that time, Harry Seward making a few yards of progress. Nasty collision there as well between Jack Burrows and his teammate Benjamin Poynton, and that kick causing a few problems there. Loughborough have dealt with the kick quite well so far, but that one certainly not ceremonious. That's George Simpson there, just jogging on your screen. He was trying to cause some difficulty with the kicks himself. Matt Marsh prominent with the box kicks also. It's Cardiff, for one of the rare occasions, it has to be said, in the first half hour or so, getting forward and very close to the Loughborough 22. Harvey Scott down on the ground on that occasion. Still Cardiff moving the ball pretty nicely, and the surge from Tom Morgan there towards that right-hand side. Not just good with the boot, but he's good at running with the ball as well. He scored his fair share of tries this season. 5 in all. Still Cardiff keep possession, probably the most prolonged amount of possession they've had so far in this game. They forced a mistake as well. Cheap concession of possession there, but Cardiff immediately forcing the error from, I think it was Sam Grahamslaw who initially snuffed it out. You can see there that the pass back was taken. In fact, it was by Archie McPherson, and immediately he knocked it on due to the presence of Cardiff behind him.
Good chance for Met to spend a bit of time behind Loughborough lines, but then them coming up with the error. I thought we might see a bit of history repeating itself when they got the penalty, that Simpson might ping it into the corner, but it wasn't to be.
Well, I was close to saying that it's rare that we've seen the left side of the field so far in this game. Yet another scrum. Has been quite a stop-start first half of this game. That's definitely gone in favour of Cardiff Met. Not just the fact that they've got the cushion of the 2 tries and therefore they're wanting to disrupt Loughborough's progress, but there's more in Loughborough's game for the fluent rugby. Cardiff definitely the more physical of the 2. A bit clumsy from Loughborough, but picked up by Lewis. And then the box kick by Ben Poynton. Comfortably collected by Simpson. Whenever Cardiff get the ball, they seem to really turn the screw quickly, giving it a good pace. The roar from the home crowd really giving encouragement to Loughborough in these defensive scenarios. Alex Dombrek, first real chance he's had to run around. And Cardiff getting that decision as we are into the final 5 minutes, well into the final 5 minutes of the first half here in the East Midlands. Loughborough 5th place coming into this one. Pointless so far in this game. Cardiff Met with the 2 converted tries, boasting that 14-0 lead. And if Cardiff can get the bonus point win and yield all 5 points tonight, they'll go joint top with Exeter. Earlier on today, they defeated Leeds Beckett by 24 points to 19. So Exeter still unbeaten at home, and Leeds with their first defeat on the road this season. And Cardiff and Leeds, 2 of the surprise packages of the BUCS season this year. Cardiff in 3rd and Leeds in 4th. Cardiff purring at the possibility of a 3rd try here. They always look dangerous in this position. Charging forward, Harry Seward, well halted. And still they come forward with Evans. Inroads being made by Scott. Loughborough doing well to halt the progress here. And you could just see there, the number 13, Quinton Costa, showing his physicality. And Loughborough are on the wrong end of that decision. Quite a few going in the way of Cardiff Met so far. And that has been one factor in what has been a pretty faultless first half display. Trying to work out what the infringement was. Can't quite see it myself, I've got to say.
Yeah, looks to be from the referee not releasing, but not clear and obvious to us in the commentary booth. But then again, he knows the rules a bit better than us.
Well, that time Loughborough are happy with the referee's call.
Yeah, nice bit of invention there from the line out from Cardiff Met. Obviously, Loughborough looking very strong in the set piece. They've been pretty dominant at scrum time, other than losing that crucial one against the head on the Met 5-metre channel. Their line out always ticks very, very well. They've got a couple of new guys in the row this evening. They don't have their usual guys like Theo Vukasinovic, but still functioning very, very nicely. Yeah, forcing Cardiff to go for a sort of trick play, NFL style. It is Super Bowl week. Just not coming off for them there.
Well, the man down at the moment is Andrew Nathan Boy, the Loughborough prop. You can just see sandwiched at the moment between the 2 physios, just below the centre of your screen. Well, as ever, a busy night of BUCS Super Rugby action here in partnership with Yoti. Bath and Nottingham Trent in action tonight. Bath leading by 21 points to 15. Well, incidentally, tonight, the final away game of the season for Cardiff Met. A couple of home games to close off their campaign. Entertaining Leeds and Exeter. What a game that'll be in the next couple of weeks. Cardiff with the game extra coming into today. Of course, after Exeter's game prior to this match, both sides had played 12, but after the completion of this one, Cardiff will have played 14 and Exeter on 30. And that is the whistle at the end of the first half, and Cardiff Met doing exactly what they had to do in the first period. 2 quick-fire tries from Harry Johnston and Aled Evans, both converted, sees them leading at the break. Loughborough 0, Cardiff Met 14.
So, a fascinating halves rugby there from Loughborough and Cardiff Met. Cardiff Met coming out at a lick and racing into a 14-0 lead to silence this healthy crowd on a bitter evening in the Midlands. Loughborough, though, they've come back and they've had their chances. Plenty of pressure in the Cardiff Met 22, but the inability to convert and a few too many errors has left them pointless going into the half-time break. We're going to cut for a few ads, but then afterwards join us for a little bit of half-time analysis and some highlights of that half.
Yeah, you know, in terms of you guys, then, try to clear that up. Don't go.
Stands just beside the pitch, they will give you a 3 point before you travel. Something to warm the cockles on what is a bitterly cold evening in Loughborough. Half time then in the BUCS Super Rugby, Loughborough with work to do. It's Cardiff Met 14, Loughborough Stephen Smith.
Hello, Adrian.
welcome back to Loughborough University. Half-time then in the BUCS Super Rugby, brought to you by Yoti. Loughborough 0, Cardiff Met 14. I'm Jonathan Bell. I've got Joe Burns alongside me. And Joe, you have to say, in that first period, Cardiff not having much of the ball, but doing enough with it when they had it.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely crucial. If you look at how when Loughborough had their opportunities, in the Cardiff Met 22, they failed to convert them and they're left with 0 points, whereas Cardiff Met, when they were on the press, when the few chances they had, they scored, and then they're in the ascendancy 14-0. They close the half, attacking the Loughborough line, so Loughborough will be pleased to have shut them out, but very, very disappointed to have left empty-handed on all those occasions in the 22.
Well, it is so cold outside that Joe was joining me in the commentary box for the half-time analysis. And when we look at the analysis now, this was after Loughborough having very much of the ball in Cardiff territory, and then Cardiff venturing forward from the line out for the first time, managing to just make the breakaway. And you have to say it wasn't for the want of trying, Loughborough trying to stop Harry Johnson there, but he did enough, nimble enough to wriggle his way through and spin away from the challenge there of Boy, and also from Poynton as well, to touch down for the first 5 points of the match.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the Loughborough coach should be very disappointed in the defence there from Loughborough. He's managed to wriggle through a number of tackles covering blind from the back row, but also direct tackles. He's a young man. He's filling the 10 jersey in the place of George Simpson tonight. So George Simpson's moved to fullback, as enforced by a fullback injury. So Harry Johnson, he's a first year, he's been making a few waves. Danny Milton's excited. He's got him in the team, and that's going to do his confidence a world of good.
Well, Loughborough on this play there, 3 or 4 times they must have managed to thwart a potential Cardiff Met breakaway, but still the visitors doing enough to get over the line, and it was Aled Evans, the captain, who got the points on that occasion. Poor defensively from Loughborough, you have to say, that time around.
Well, you say poor defence, but I think the continuity play there was Fijian-esque. Their ability to keep the ball alive, it's so difficult once you get in behind the defence to be able to reorganise yourself to stop the numbers who are flooding through. Kudos to the Cardiff Met side there, because once the break was made, they flooded through and there was so much support at every interval. There were men left, men right, and everyone hungry, chasing that ball, knowing that there could be an opportunity for them to pick up the next score. Without that support, that wouldn't have been a try. So I think you're being a little bit harsh on Loughborough there. I think that we should be doffing our hats to the Cardiff Met attack instead.
Well, you could say the scoreline at half-time, harsh as well on the home team here. You can see that so far today, it has very much been going the way of the home sides in the BUCS Super Rugby in partnership with Yoti. Bath against Nottingham Trent at the top of your screen there, a latest score. Bath leading by 21 points to 15 there. Exeter earlier on this afternoon beating Leeds Beckett by 24 points to 19. 4 points for Exeter, not 5, failing to get the bonus point, which does open the gate somewhat for Cardiff Met. If they can get the maximum haul of 5 tonight, they'll be joint top with Exeter at the end of the day.
Yeah, very, very exciting league. It's a massive cliche to say that anyone can beat anyone, but it really is the case, and it's all to play for. Bath and Nottingham Trent, both of them are going to be desperate for a win. Bath have been so close on a number of occasions of taking big scalps in this league. We saw them at Northumbria on Friday night, a very, very quality Northumbria side, and they really were in the mix the whole time. Their defence was furious, but they had some moments of magic out wide. Will Partington particularly impressed me, and Levi Davis, obviously the powerful winger down the left, he got in for a try as well. Nottingham Trent, they're the new boys, and they have a lot of players playing in the Championship, playing for Nottingham Rugby, who are doing very, very well in the Championship, but they haven't been able to convert that sort of quality into the league so far. I spoke to Neil Fouts, their coach, earlier in the season, and he just said to me that he was, taken aback at how tough the league is and how many quality sides there are in here. Every game is war, and every point is so, so precious.
Absolutely. We just saw on your screen there, perhaps the eagle-eyed of you and those of Loughborough persuasion. Unfortunately, he's turned his back to us now. Theo Vukasinovic, that sort of player, that sort of calibre are missing tonight for Loughborough. They've gone with the youngsters quite a lot due to injury, and also, of course, Loughborough very much in with one setup at a weekend as well, so a lot of chopping and changing around there, and that doesn't help the team, does it?
Well, it's a very, very fine balance. I think that in previous years, when they were competing on the National 1 stage and the BUCS stage, they were able to manage it with a bit more ease, but it's a reflection on the quality of the league that they're starting to find difficulty in defending on both fronts. You mentioned Vukasinovic there, but there's a whole number of other players. Harry Nuttall, the Moose, the big Moose, Musa Youssef, he's not in the picture, he's injured at the moment. They're hoping for him to make an early comeback.
Well, you can see outcome, the two teams ready for the second half. Despite the fact Loughborough losing in this game and pointless from the first half, they certainly shouldn't be having their heads down going into this second period. A try, particularly early on in this second half, can really put the cats amongst the pigeons. So it'll be Cardiff to kick things off in the second period. Left to right on your screen, George Simpson with the kicking responsibilities.
Yeah, and we mentioned at the top of the show how social we like to get with the hashtag BUCS Super Rugby. We have had a couple of tweets in, one from James Platt saying the Cardiff Met number 12 is a beast, that he is. And he's not just a beast, but he's a points machine. He's chasing down Ted Landry to be the league's top point scorer at the moment. And if Cardiff Met keep on scoring tries, they'll have plenty of opportunity to kick more goals. So keep your tweets coming in. We'd love to hear them. Ask your questions, give us your views. We want to read them out.
Absolutely. You mentioned Tom Morgan there. 4 points for him tonight, both conversions successful from him. He's now on 153 for the season, which is quite fantastic to say the least. Cardiff then with the early possession of the ball. Aled Evans there trying to get possession. Loughborough meaning business so far, and strong on the breakdown. And now we've just talked about there on the ball, can't miss him with the bright green boots, Tom Morgan. It's Cardiff Met just looking to move the ball very smoothly indeed. Was that a forward pass? Yes, it was. Uncharacteristic error, but Loughborough will certainly accept that.
Yes, Tom Morgan get his hands on the ball nice and early. They had quite a few injuries at the start of the season, and they handed the captaincy to Tom Morgan in the absence of Aled Evans, and from that he's absolutely thrived, is what Danny Milton told me. Took on the leadership responsibility. As a result, his plays come on in leaps and bounds. He's not captain tonight, but he's certainly a talisman for the Archers.
Well, didn't want to speak too soon though. I was going to say the scrum's looking a bit cleaner here at the early stage of the second half, but immediately after that, George Selwood just intervening, and we'll have another run at that. I said coming into this that Loughborough's home form was inclement. 3 wins and 3 defeats so far this campaign on the home patch. And that scrum collapsing there, and a very easy decision for Mr. Selwood. Cardiff Met ball, and they move it quickly as well. Loughborough heading so far for their 4th home defeat of the season. They were undefeated throughout the whole of the campaign last year. Part of the problem this campaign, but the error there seized upon by Boyle, looking to charge forward, and he may just get it as well. It was well held by George Simpson, retrieving things there just metres away from his own try line. Loughborough getting the decision, however. Good pressure coming in, particularly from Quinton Costa. Loughborough taking things quickly, but too quickly for the referee's liking. But Loughborough definitely trying to use that sort of momentum when they have it.
Yeah, definitely. An error in midfield there from Cardiff Met, pounced upon by Andrew Nathan. Boy, he showed great wheels for a front row forward, putting pressure on. George Simpson initially dealt with it, but the support wasn't quite there. But Loughborough were there in swathes, really swamped the young full-back. And this time, they leave the 22 with points, so maybe one of the conversations at half-time was they need to leave with points, they need to build and build. That'll be confidence boosting, and they're just looking at an 11-point deficit now.
Yeah, Matt Travers there, getting Loughborough off the mark for the night. Loughborough 3, Cardiff Met 14 in the BUCS Super Rugby in partnership with Yoti. Maybe a little bit of optimism beginning to creep in the Loughborough ranks. Very easy to say, isn't it, Joe? You know, you take out the 2 tries and things actually not looking too bad for Loughborough, but it was just those 2 moments in the first period. Apart from that, it was mostly Loughborough in the ascendancy.
Yeah, but as you said, ifs and buts you can't really take into the equation because they're certainties, they're facts of the game now, and they are 14-3 down. But with that start, they've got an opportunity to rectify what was an awful start for them in the first 40.
Knock on there by Boy, who certainly got fire in his belly at the start of the second half. That charged down a few minutes ago. Adrenaline perhaps getting to him a bit too much on that occasion. And, well, we spoke about how impressive Tom Morgan is with his boot. We're now going to find out if he can do it on a cold Wednesday night in Loughborough. That's the knock on there. In fact, it's very unfortuitous. It just cannoned off the shoulder of Boy into the path of Lewis. Simple decision for the referee. And that's Tom Morgan's latest challenge.
Well, Morgan has got an absolute bazooka of a boot. I've seen him knock balls over from 60 metres down on the boggy park in Cardiff. So on a nice 4G, a calm but frosty night, I'd back him to slot this.
Well, there goes Morgan with the kick. It's certainly going to reach, and it's good as well.
Room to spare.
One of the day's work that for Tom Morgan. 9 points for the night for him. That takes him level with the all-time record. Just a little bit of a cushion that Cardiff Met needed there after Loughborough got the penalty for themselves a few moments before. Travers making the burst forward. A very positive one as well, managing to wrong foot a couple Cardiff Met players there. A very strong challenge coming in from Sam Cochrane. Loughborough still with possession in hand. Foster, not seen much of him in the second period so far. He was very much part of much of Loughborough's play in the first period. As Poynton goes high and wide and well collected by George Simpson, who immediately looks to turn defence into attack. And possession overturned. And Loughborough purring once more. Will Foster, seen much of his namesake in this match. First chance he's had on the left wing. Immediately thwarted. Now Graham Slaw stays on his feet, does well. He's got Lewis in support also. Poynton will recycle things here. Loughborough looking positive. And that time making the burst was Jamie Cox. Possession still in purple hands. Nice jinx away.
There he is, Aaron Tate.
Excellent from Tate. Just slipped out of his hands right at the last. And you were talking about him in the first half, Joe. First real chance we've seen to see his qualities there. And it almost spelled trouble for Cardiff Met.
Yeah, lethal feet when he gets a bit of space. I said jet rockets from standstill. Breaking tackles like a crowbar. But eventually bundled out. I'm not sure who that was. But he was the difference between a try and a defensive line out to Cardiff Met now. But pressure on, they need to deal with this and exit a little bit better than they did in the first half. I said before, the pack was a little bit lazy not getting the blockers in to protect Matt Marsh. Let's see if they've learnt their lesson and give him the protection he deserves.
Well, of course, Loughborough, a hub of not just rugby here in the East Midlands, but all sports as well. You can see the AstroTurf football pitches just to the right of the screen, the athletics to the top left also, and to the far right you can see just lighting up there in the blue is the aquatic centre here in Loughborough. But all eyes certainly focused on the rugby and on this scrum right now, as Morgan coming away with it, a few yards forward for him. And Marsh will just have to kick this one away. And this time it is successful. The blockers doing their job of making sure there was no charge down from Loughborough. Now here goes Tate again, manages to find the offload. Already in this opening 9 minutes of the second half, we've seen a couple of flashes from Loughborough's wingers, more than we saw in the first period, as they now switch things towards the left-hand side, and it's Travers at the heart of it.
Beaten by the right.
Loughborough very much with purpose. Poynton. Now it's Will Foster. He can't find a way through. Travers. And this is Lewis. Well, said before the game, Lewis had been making those runs from the centre. Featured for most of the first half of the season wearing the number 12 shirt. Not quite working for him tonight at 8, and Loughborough just giving away the ball with a cheap pass towards the left, aiming for Will Foster, and Cardiff gratefully have the ball back in their hands.
Yeah, impressive defence from Cardiff Met there. Their fitness levels are absolutely supreme to continually get off the deck and reform that line that's impregnable, tight around the breakdown. But they're also dealing with the midfield threats very well. You called him there, Richie Lewis. Man's 126 kilos, hands of a centre. Good footwork. He's a handful, that's for sure, but they're two up hitting him every time in an attempt to nullify him. You saw him turning around looking for a little offload there, but he just couldn't quite free his arms. The question is, can Met maintain this level of intensity for the remaining 30 minutes of the game in defence?
Well, it was Loughborough in the reverse fixture that failed to match the intensity that they had in the first half, losing out ultimately 32 points to 19. Revenge perhaps on the cards tonight. I think that'll be at the back of their minds right now. We said at half-time that Loughborough have got quite a few players out through injury, but Cardiff Met missing a few important players tonight as well. Adam Dove injured, Max Llewellyn with the Wales under-20 side, and now David Rabzianak as well, who was a prominent part of Cardiff Met's success earlier in the season against Loughborough.
Yeah, man of the match performance from him. He scored a try. He's involved with the Dragons at the moment, but carrying a little niggle, so he's been kept out. Not to say that his replacement, Harvey Scott, is any slouch. Danny Milton more than happy to toss him the number 7 jersey and trust him with filling those boots.
Well, George Simpson there with a very accurate kick to one member of the Loughborough crowd.
Just stay up.
So 12 minutes gone of the second period here. BUCS Super Rugby action brought to you by Yoti. Cardiff Met still with the 14-point advantage that they boasted at the break.
Receiver, yeah?
Penalty apiece.
Let's go.
The only scoring we've had so far in the second half. Travers, Lewis, Costa. Good interchange of passing there from Loughborough. Beginning to move the ball and use it quicker and quicker as well. Also got Callum Watson, the number 20, entering the fray. And Travers again. It's a good dart forward this from Tom Stapley. And here comes Watson. Watson still charging on towards the centre, keeps his feet as well, and Loughborough have their try right when it matters as well. The substitute supplying the goods and getting Loughborough's first 5-point haul of the game. They're back in it now. Loughborough 8, Cardiff Met 17, and it's Callum Watson with the excellent run.
Yeah, game on, Jono. Finally they found that penetration in the midfield through Stapley. Poor tackle there, but then Watson with so much to do, but such strength, speed and fight, and riding under the posts to really open this game back up.
Well, Matt Marsh with the best efforts there to try and stop Callum Watson, but he just easily dismissed him, did the Loughborough number 20. And a chance now for Matthew Travers to get Loughborough into double digits, and a try away, and it's good as well from him. Loughborough 10, Cardiff Met 17, and Callum Watson, who actually has a booked record for the most individual points in a game last season when he got 33 against Northumbria. Just getting the 5 tonight was all that mattered for him. Tremendous determination towards the line. And setting up a pretty easy conversion that for Travers. Game on once again.
Game on indeed, Jono, and mentioned before about us being very social here, and to use the hashtag when you're talking about the game. And we've had Harry Mallender, the Northampton Saint, giving his 10 cents. Not particularly complimentary about Ben Poynton, the number 9 for Loughborough, referring to him as the dwarf, but he's cheering him on nevertheless. I think the dwarf is marshalling his pack round the park pretty nicely and getting the back line going, so thanks for tweeting in.
Well,
I'm sure he'll be delighted to hear that sort of abuse on TV.
Sorry to jump in there, Joe, but the mistake beginning to set in there from Cardiff Met, and Loughborough's tails are up at the moment. Cardiff looking composed in the first half, but rattled very much in the second. This is Boy. It's Watson recycling things. And another one of the substitutes marauding forward there. That's Tim Bitterim. Loughborough going all out here, very much on the offensive, as they have been for much of this game. Slamming his way through. Andrew Bywater there, almost dropped it, which would have been a knock-on, but managed to just push it with 2 hands before it went to ground. Bitterim again. Very quickly switching from the left side of the field, and now he's popping up on the right. Watson moving things on, and almost a break here for Loughborough. Can they make it count? Will Foster foiled. Watson keeping things going. It's slammed back, and it was a knock-on according to the referee, and you can see the hands on the head of Callum Watson there. He knows that was an opportunity, and had the pass been better in towards the path of Quinton Costa, could have been another try for Loughborough.
Yeah, certainly could have. Great opportunity there, but Loughborough will be building in spirit with every player of the game. They're really on the charge now. Momentum's with them, the bits between their teeth. Quinton Costa, he's got a great pair of hands and has scored plenty of tries this season. He's been a mainstay in the side since round 6 of the tournament. Would have expected himself to hold on to that, and if he had, no one would have stopped him.
I just mentioned the Cardiff mistakes, and that was the one I was referring to. Ben Williams, the substitute there, just not holding it on from the line out. And those little things like that, particularly when you've got a crowd as vociferous as the Loughborough crowd here in the East Midlands, it really encourages them to get on the opposition's backs, and it can cause even more errors defensively for Cardiff.
Yeah, definitely. At the start of the game, they silenced the crowd with those 2 quick tries. However, an increased number of errors is beginning to feed the monster on the touchline. It'll only get hungrier.
Well, it's certainly not warm out there either. You can see the snow on the screen, coupled with the breath coming out of the players' mouths. Very visible indeed. That certainly can't help. Perhaps the substitutes coming on, if they're not warm enough, they may make those sort of errors. But that was a better pass that time around from Ben Williams towards the far side as Cardiff recycle possession. And they move it very quickly as well. Edgar's gone flying off the ball there. It's Sam Bailey's who's quickly gone to retrieve it. But Loughborough need to retrieve the ball right now. Once again, it's the route out of trouble for Cardiff with the kick. Well taken by Tate. There's a new vigour about Loughborough right now, thanks to this man's try, Callum Watson. And the decision going the way of Loughborough. And they may be going for points here, Loughborough. We'll wait and find out, as we have just over 20 minutes remaining of this BUCS Super Rugby clash in partnership with Yoti. Just 1 try, the difference after Callum Watson went over in the last 10 minutes. And what a blockbuster of a finish we have on the cards here. So it's Matthew Travers this time, looking for the ambitious conversion of the penalty. Saw Tom Morgan from way out succeed at the start of the second period. Travers going for it now as well, and it is good. Anything Tom Morgan can do, Matt Travers can do.
Yeah, eating into that lead now. Just 4 points, so 1 score away, 1 try score away. And do Cardiff have the energy left in them to attack and try and stretch their lead a little bit more? They would have come here looking for a bonus point, but now I think they'd be grateful just to leave with a victory. Defending for such long periods of time, they'll be exhausted, and that's maybe that fatigue is what's forcing these penalty and knock-on errors that we didn't see in the first half from them.
Big response needed now then from the visitors. What have they got in the locker? Once again, they move it quickly whenever they have the ball, and then the handling error coming courtesy of Luke Northmore. Loughborough can easily clear their lines and perhaps spring defence into attack just out of the reach there of Tim Bitterin. Once again, those fine margins. If he'd got that, he would have been through, and it would have been a certain 5 points, you would imagine.
Tell you what, the man who has had the biggest impact on this game single-handedly is undoubtedly Callum Watson. A brilliant try to get Loughborough on the go. Then every time he's had the ball, it's been a meaningful impact, and he's looked threatening. Cardiff don't know how to deal with him at the moment.
Yeah, very nonchalant kick forward there, nearly assisting Tim Bitterin on that scamper down the left channel. Travers less elegant with that belt to the right boot. And Simpson, once again, fantastic with his hands and taking it forward as well. Well, when you're having kicks directed towards you, like the Cardiff Met backline are receiving, you need that bit of respite. You need the likes of George Simpson to be comfortable with the hands, to take it comfortably into the chest and then scamper forward with it and then go on the offensive. And that's exactly what's happened here.
Yeah, George Simpson's a very talented player. He's played brilliantly for Met all season, shifted into the fullback position tonight, and he looks right at home, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Bit of a short pass there in the middle, but this time it won't deter Cardiff too much, as Alan Ward does really well to make up some yards there. just on the stretch, the recovery made there to make sure that that wasn't a loose pass either. Loughborough looking a very stern defensive unit at the moment. There'd been an offside call there against Tom Stapley, a bit too eager getting towards the ball. Once again there, miraculous save of possession courtesy of Harvey Scott.
Yeah, great hands there. And Cardiff Met finally with an opportunity to, well, they're not even in Loughborough's half, but they'll be relieved to not be in their half. Try and build a bit of play. Hopefully, for one of the Met fans, Sam Cochrane can get on the score sheet. Joshua Jordan cheering him on at home. Sam Cochrane, he's had a broken hand at the start of the year. He's come back pretty strongly, but yet to score a try in BUCS, so maybe he'll break his duck tonight.
I think the referee just looked at the aftermath of that scrum there and thought, look, we've got the ball out, that's a rarity tonight, let's just carry on playing. And Cardiff certainly playing well there. Fantastic dash crossfield from Jordan Roberts. Still the ball alive, a real battle to keep hold of it. Cardiff have succeeded. Nice pop off there. And that's a great bit of interchange between Alex Dombrandt and now Aled Ward as well, and they still go. This is Morgan, and it just falters at the last. Fantastic play from Cardiff there down the centre. Some wonderful quick interchange of passing, and they're still alive now with Simpson. Loughborough look set defensively once again, but could open momentarily on that occasion. Cardiff still on top though. Dombrandt trying to again make the charge down the heart of the Loughborough rearguard. Could be a big moment in the game this. Loughborough have got it a try back. They do not want to let that slip, and for the buffer to extend, but it may just do, and eventually it'll be worked over the line. It was Aled Ward who looked as if he'd let it slip, but Ben Williams managed to make sure that he dragged Cardiff Met a further 5 points ahead. And how significant could that try be?
Massive score for the Archers there. We spoke about their ability to score tries and they're starved of possession. It's their first foray into Loughborough's 22 in this half, in all 25 minutes of it, and they come up with a try. Tom Morgan with a kick to make it a 7-pointer. That's not only going to stretch the lead, but it's going to halt that momentum that Loughborough was slowly building, that was becoming unmanageable. It's also given them an opportunity to not defend for a period.
Yeah, a bit of respite for the Cardiff defence. There was no doubt about that. Well, that kick was going to end up Tom Morgan with another successful punt towards the post. But you can just see here the number 6 Aled Ward, when he goes to ground, look how grateful he is that he sees Ben Williams when he looks up, and he is able to easily put the ball over. And it's Loughborough trailing by 24 points to 13 now. Cardiff Met well and truly back in the driving seat here in the BUCS Super Rugby, presented by EOT.
And the bonus point within their sights now.
It's amazing how quickly a game can flip. Dombrandt going forwards there. We were saying at half-time that maybe Cardiff Met should look away from the bonus point and just try and get the 4 points in this match. Once again, looking at a possible 5-point haul for Cardiff. And how important that would be? Well, they would go joint top on the half century with Exeter. And that spirit that Loughborough seemed to have in the last 10 minutes or so, it seems to have evaporated somewhat from that try. It's no surprise that Loughborough need to keep their head up if they're to get back in this.
Yeah, that bonus point, that would take him level on Exeter. And crucially, with Exeter to play at home, their last fixture of the season, that could be an unbelievable matchup.
Amazing how those sort of things work out, but can't look too far ahead, Cardiff Met, because after this one they've got Leeds. And they've been a banana skin for quite a few sides. Almost for Exeter today.
Yeah, Leeds, an impressive outfit. They've really turned around their fortunes from last season. They've been in the hunt for much of the year. They're probably a little bit distant now after that loss, but they don't roll over. And they've won so many games away as well, so home comforts might not be so sweet when they come knocking.
Ball recycled by Loughborough, who looked promising again. Costa again just halted in his tracks. Watson, the orchestrator of all things good from Loughborough in the second half. Foster trying to squirm his way through. And then Travers, and this is Lewis. Again, he's doubled up. Another phase of play for Loughborough to contend with and to negotiate away towards the try line. Very much easier said than done against this Cardiff Met side, who do not give much away at all. But Watson again, chancing his arm. Touching distance from going underneath the post now are Loughborough. It's all a bit messy, but Watson will get things going again, will he? Instead, duties are left to Foster. And can Loughborough make this one count as they make the charge towards the post, and Bywater there. Cardiff looking to withstand this. If they manage to get out of this, they've done awfully well. Watson, still Loughborough press. Costa out wide, Bitterham shifting his feet and getting the score. And Loughborough with the perfect response. And Tim Bitterham, as soon as he got that ball there, he was very spry on his feet, danced inside of his defender and just put it down to a plum. And Loughborough once again back in it.
Topsy-turvy game with just when you think the Cardiff Met have maybe found the penultimate nail in the coffin, Loughborough come back to challenge the scoreboard again. Big kick for Travers. We've got 10 minutes left and a bit of a finale on our hands, Jono.
Absolutely, an incredible finish, of course, we had last week between Hartpury and Exeter. The bar was certainly raised high going into this one.
I'm not sure my nerves can handle another finish like the Hartpury Exeter game the other week. They were shredded by the end of it.
Well, Travers keeping as composed as he possibly can right now. I don't think anyone's expecting him to get this. And if he does, it'll be a very nice bonus indeed. Missed, but it couldn't have been by much, and he's jogging away quite gingerly from that as well. But this is the try once again, and Bitterham, as soon as he gets it, his eyes lit up, and the three Cardiff Met players in his wake never had a chance.
Yeah, really quality player, Bitterham. Often a starter for Loughborough, coming in off the bench, along with Callum Watson. It's a lot of firepower to be bringing in the wide channels and from fullback. Showed his dancing feet there. Difficult to lay a finger on him, let alone a tackle.
Well, what a night of BUCS Super Rugby, brought to you by Yoti. Of course, quite a few other games going off today as well. It's finished in the southwest. Bath 50, Nottingham Trent 25. It was pretty close at the break between those two sides, but Bath extending their lead somewhat in the second period and comfortably coming out ahead. very jovial atmosphere on the touchline on the far side. As always here at Loughborough, an average attendance so far this season of just under 1,000, which is fantastic backing from those of a Loughborough persuasion. And they may have something to cheer about in the next 10 minutes, but that is all down to whether Loughborough can wave another storm that Cardiff Met are potentially brewing now. It was certainly a strong response from Cardiff after they conceded the first try of the second period. Can they do it again? And of course, if they can get another try and hold on and win, they've got that bonus point. Cardiff getting the decision as well. Positive pressure from them. Big question, can Loughborough learn from the mistakes of the previous Cardiff Met attack, from which the visitors managed to get the try from? In fact, they may be going for the post here. And I suppose it's a wise decision, Joe, when you do have someone like Tom Morgan, who, I was going to say 9 times out of 10 gets it through the post, more or less 10 times out of 10 gets it through the post. You may as well go for it and get the 3 points when you have the opportunity.
Yeah, I think that shows due deference to Loughborough and the threat they pose. This kick's going to take them out of range of a converted try. It shows that they know they haven't won this game, and they need to earn the win first before hunting for that bonus point.
Once again, it looks decent, but it hits the upright. Well, is that an omen? Not often does Tom Morgan get off target. And could that spur Loughborough on? The crowd certainly liked it, and a strong charge there from Lewis as well has done nothing to deter the spirits of this place. Bitterham again with that dancing footwork. The opposite corner of the pitch to where he scored that dazzling try not so long ago. That's the try that's given new life to Loughborough. Can they make it count? So often Loughborough have come so close in games this season. Their biggest defeat of the campaign was away at Cardiff, and that was only by 13 points in the 32-19 defeat. It shows how close they get, and look how close that was as well from Tom Morgan, rattling the post. And Loughborough getting away with one. So what a finish we have on our hands here at Loughborough BUCS Super Rugby, brought to you by Yoti. Of course, tonight the first game of University Rugby, broadcast live on national television, and this has certainly been a game fit for the history books. Be a game that Loughborough definitely won't want to revisit if they can't get something out of it. They've been here before. Their strong endeavours have come undone in games very similar to this, where they have been within a try. Loughborough have got 9 bonus points so far this campaign, a few of them coming from marginal defeats. Beat of the drum, loud here at Loughborough. And the Cardiff rhythm certainly disrupted in the second half. But what will the damage of that be? So Travers, once again, he looks as if he's struggling, and there we go, he's holding the back of his left leg. He's still going, is Matt Travers. wonder how much he's got left in the tank. It's been wonderful for Loughborough today. Cardiff still having to do the defending here. Loughborough absolutely relentless into the final 3 minutes, and that is just picked up once again by Costa, and it's actually could work out for them. Loughborough, a fantastic sprint forward that from Costa, but I think it's been overturned, and it's Jack Ferguson with his hands on it. Loughborough get the decision, but in an unbelievable topsy-turvy game, Joe. Very difficult to pick out a man of the match, but I think you may have just managed.
Well, it's a little bit of a difficult one to call with the match in the balance. The victory hasn't been decided. Loughborough pressing relentlessly. They've had some great performers. Callum Watson's come on and really made a difference. Tim Bitteram's added some great energy as well. Richie Lewis has carried heroically for them. But really the feature of the game has been the Cardiff Met defence, who have been relentless all evening, and none more so typified by Aled Ward, who's put in a monumental shift today. So I think last time we awarded a man of the match with the game in the balance was to Silence Sell when Hartbury pipped Exeter at the last, so I hope it's not the kiss of death for Aled Ward, Yoti, player man of the match.
Well, Joe, absolutely tempting fate there, potentially, as Loughborough, after this injury here to their captain Quinton Costa, are in a promising position to maybe get their third try. But Aled Ward there, the OT player of the game, has represented his nation at under-18 level as captain, and he was also part of the under-20s World Cup squad last year as well, playing as a number 8. Very versatile feature of the Cardiff Met setup. BUCS Super Rugby in partnership with Yoti. You can see Cardiff Met leading this one here, 24 points to 18. 2 full-time results above that you can see on your screen now. Bath 50, Nottingham Trent 25, and a really interesting result at the top of the table. Exeter beating Leeds Beckett by 24 points to 19. Northumbria also in the thick of that battle at the top of the table. Play on Friday against Hartbury, of course. Hartbury, the only team that have beaten Cardiff Met in the Welsh side's last 5 games. So a couple of minutes left. And that is that. Well, the referee's clock is the one that matters. He had 80 on his wrist. Cardiff Met knew that very well indeed. And Aled Evans kicked for touch. And how important a win could that be for Cardiff Met come the end of the season? We said coming into this a bonus point win would get them up on top with Exeter. They had to settle for the 4 points in the end. Hats off for Loughborough for a fantastic fight back in the second period. Loughborough having much of the territorial advantage and a lot of possession as well, but that Cardiff Met physicality we spoke about so often prior to the game has certainly come up trumps here. And how important that will be for Cardiff Met, we'll find out in just a few weeks' time. Their final away game of the season, and it'll be a happy trip home as well to South Wales. Leeds and Exeter coming up, but tonight Cardiff Met have done the business, and they can certainly rest tonight, safe in the knowledge they have done all they can. Loughborough 18, Cardiff Met 24 here, the BUCS Super Rugby, brought to you by Yoti. We'll be back with all the reaction to this cracking affair in a few moments' time. Welcome back to Loughborough. BUCS Super Rugby brought to you by Yoti. What a game we have had tonight. 16 points separating these two in the league standings, just 6 points on the pitch. Loughborough 18, Cardiff Met 24. It's a bonus point defeat for Loughborough. That's their 10th bonus point of the season, but it's Cardiff Met who will be by far the happier on their trip back to South Wales, taking 4 points from this and keeping the pressure on leaders Exeter. This is how they did it. Early on in the first 10 minutes, 2 quick-fire tries from the visitors seemed to put the game already out of sight in what was a pretty tight affair. Harry Johnston there going over the fly half with a great sprint and a change of pace, twisting away as well from the Loughborough backline, who will be perhaps disappointed that they couldn't foil Johnston's attempts. But nevertheless, a very good try indeed. Cardiff then managed to get their second try just a minute later. Fantastic burst forward initially from Jack Fielding. He was denied. The next man was then denied as well, and eventually going over was Matt Marsh, the number 9 scrum half, making it 12-0 to Cardiff Met. Once more, the reliable boot of Tom Morgan made it 2 converted tries to 0 for the visitors. They couldn't have dreamt of a better start. Loughborough pretty much bewildered. Certainly the atmosphere was brought down by several notches after that, but a couple of very inspired changes at the break. One of them Tim Bitteren coming on, the other this man Callum Watson bundling his way with sublime pace and strength over the line, and that gave Loughborough room for hope once more. Couple of penalties apiece as well, just going before that at the start of the second period, brought the scores to Loughborough 10, Cardiff Met 17. Callum Watson flattening Matt Marsh on his way through, and there was a new lease of life around Loughborough after that. The crowd certainly were beginning behind their team. Cardiff Met were forced into uncharacteristic errors, handling errors which we hadn't seen in the first period, and they managed to respond perfectly. Allard Ward almost wriggled his way towards the line, but he gladfully looked up and saw the support of substitute Ben Williams, who went over despite the best efforts of Archie McPherson at the back to extend Cardiff Met's 2-try lead. Tim Bitteren, the other of the Loughborough subs, managing to come up with a try for himself. Once again, Watson at the heart of it. A special mention for Matt Travers as well, who was playing on, it seemed like, through injury for much of the latter stages of the contest. Part of that move costed the captain out to Bitteren, and he used the overlap of Aaron Tate on the right wing. There's a bit of a decoy there. It tricked the Cardiff Met backline, and he managed to jinx his way inside and get the try. But it wasn't enough for Loughborough, who, despite their best efforts in the final 10 minutes, could not turn it around. So Cardiff Met coming out on top then. Final score, Loughborough 18, Cardiff Met 24. We can pass over to pitch side, Joe Burns.
Right, great comms there, Jono. It was my absolute pleasure to join you in the warmth of the van, but unfortunately I've had to venture out to the touchline now into the freezing cold night after a game that ebbed and flowed and hung in the balance right to the very end, but Cardiff Met in the eventuality squeaking the win under much Loughborough pressure at the end. I'm joined by Jared Mullen, Loughborough coach. Very tough loss to take, I imagine.
Yeah, no, I mean, we knew it was going to be close tonight. We're still proud of the performance. We had a lot of lads making their debuts, so I mean, we probably gave them too much of a head start. Probably a lot of silly penalties early on, gave them easy field position. But I thought second half we were credible. Really proud of the way the boys came back, but a little too late,
Yeah, you had a huge amount of pressure in the first half in the 22s for a period of like 20-25 minutes. You weren't able to convert any points. Do you think that was crucial in the way the game turned out?
Yeah, I think they probably on top was in the scrum there. Maybe should have gone for points instead of trying to keep scrumming. Probably enforced. Probably thought maybe the ref should have gone to a yellow card, but yeah, exactly. It was obviously a big point in the game. We had a lot of pressure there and came away with no points, sadly. which cost us.
So would you have strategically been like pushing for the yellow card, that in the back of your mind, you know, if we keep getting penalties, then they're going to go down to 14?
Yeah, potentially. We probably thought. I mean, it was at that stage, but he didn't go there. Yeah, I mean, it was a tough one there. Probably should have taken the 3 in reflection,
But that's the way Loughborough play. You come to play. You come to score tries. You're not all. I know you're about winning, but you're not all about grinding out 3 points, 3 points, 3 points.
yeah, no, of course, you know. And for us now, it's you said earlier on, but building momentum going into the playoffs. So you know, we thought last week we stepped it up, and certainly tonight we thought aspects of our performance went up again.
And the second half, you brought in a bit of impact. Callum Watson particularly caught the eye. Do you wish that you'd started with him?
Yeah, no, I mean, Callum, quality player. No, he's been here. This is his second season now. He's just come back from some hamstring injury, so you know. Recommendation, his minutes are limited at the moment. We're trying to, but maybe in the coming weeks he will be starting in the team.
Yeah, and pressure right till the very end. Unfortunately, you let them back in. He had a little bit too much to go. Where does that leave you for the remaining games of the season?
Yeah, you know, we just got to stay close. We got to take the positives from last week and from tonight into Durham next week, and hopefully, you know, we can keep building and pick up a win next week. But as a group, we're building momentum and we're seeing progress.
And you mentioned a few new caps in there. Obviously, that's injury enforced, but a great opportunity for boys to stake their claim. Who impressed you?
Yeah, no, massively. I thought Will Foster in the second row, he worked hard all night. Sam Bailey, good physicality. Yeah, I thought again Aaron Tate looked sharp out there. Callum coming on. So, you know, we got some boys coming back now as well, but a couple of lads did put their hand up, to be fair.
So certainly positives to take from the game.
Yeah, massively, definitely so.
Brilliant. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you again, Jared. Commiserations for this evening. It was a tight one. I'll leave you to get back to your boys. It gives you an opportunity to introduce Ian Gardner, who's the forwards coach for Cardiff Met, and you know, man of the match, Alan Ward. You might as well jump into the conversation as well. Ian, congratulations on the victory. Very, very hard fought, sir.
Oh, absolutely. You know, everybody knows that, you know, Loughborough is certainly one of the prime universities, and certainly sport, and absolutely rugby university. And you know, it's never an easy game coming up here, and you know, that was very much the case tonight.
Yeah, it must be hugely pleasing to win home and away against Loughborough. It must be a long old time since you did that.
Yeah, you know, this is really my second year of coaching here. First year of my coaching the first, so you know, it's all a new experience for me, and certainly coming up here, and I know the tradition and the heritage of Loughborough University, to get to do the double over them this year is huge for Cardiff Met, and you know, it's been a great night for the boys, and you know, really proud of the way they dug in, and the huge Loughborough pressure. We just managed to grind out the win.
Yeah, huge Loughborough pressure, and your defence was titanic throughout. Yeah. No more so than the forwards, the men that you're in charge of. Yeah. How do you keep those big lumps so fit to keep them getting off the floor, getting into the line and making tackle after tackle?
I can't take too much credit for the fitness. That's go to Di Watts, our S&C coach, and Chris Edwards. But in terms of the attitude, no, that's what we talk about all the time. It's more about effort and attitude and playing for each other. And you know, are you prepared to get up off the floor? Are you prepared to go that extra yard? And you know, that's what we pride ourselves on, and certainly that come to the fore. Apart from possibly Hartbury a couple of weeks ago, we brought that pretty much every game. That defensive pride. So we really needed it tonight, and as I said, a huge Loughborough pressure, and they played some great rugby second half in fairness to them.
Yeah, I spoke to Danny before the game, and he said he was a bit disappointed in the spirit that was shown in the Hartbury game, but having squeezed out the win away at Durham, which is a tough place to go, this win tonight, you must be buoyant going into the final two fixtures and licking your lips at Exeter for the last one.
Well, we got Leeds Met in between that next week, so that's going to be another huge ask. I know they run they run Exeter very close today. I think Exeter scored the last play of the game to beat them, so we're under no illusions. While they bring a very powerful side, we beat Leeds up there, but you know, again, it was very similar to this game. We were hanging on in the end, and a huge pressure, and it's our defence that held out. So you know, hopefully we can bring that same attitude and same consistency in defence next week.
Great stuff, Ian. Well, yeah, defence led by your back row, man of the match, Alan Ward. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
It was a great performance. You must be stoked.
Yeah, very happy with that. I think you've got to give a man of the match to about anyone on that pitch today, but you know, fair play to us boys. You know, we dug deep, especially at the end. It was a bit sweetie bum time for us, and managed to grind out the win. So.
Yeah, so you know, a lot of spirit shown there, and a lot of effort in getting up and making those tackles again and again. Is that the love and the spirit that you have within the team, working hard for each other? That's the driving force.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more us boys sticking together as a unit, as a team. You know, we dig deep for each other. You know, we try and work as hard as possible, and especially in the mornings in gym, we grind out everything. And to be here today, we did that.
That's awesome. Well, Alid, you are our man of the match. We have Quentin from Yoti, our sponsors, to present you with the enormous bottle of champagne for you to enjoy on the bus on the way home. Wish you a safe journey back and looking forward to seeing you again, okay?
Thank you.
Righto, well there you have it. It wasn't a bullseye for the Archers tonight, just the 4 points, no fiver. However, they'll be delighted at getting a win after soaking up so much pressure from the African Violets. It's been our first gig on Free Sports and it's been an absolute pleasure and a cracker of a game. We're going to be back on Wednesday next week for the South West Derby. Exeter versus Bath in a massive game. The crowds will be huge, the game will be huge. Join us then. Thank you for joining us this evening. Until then, good night.